Hello and welcome to your Northeast Minnesota labor market update for August of 2021. My name is Carson Gorecki and I'm the Northeast Minnesota Regional Labor Market Analyst with the Department of Employment and Economic Development, also known as DEED. Over the next couple minutes, I will provide the latest jobs and labor force updates and discuss the pandemic's impact on the longer-term rise of employment by older workers. First, let's take a look at the most recent jobs numbers. The current employment statistics data tool on our website allows you to explore the most recent employment data for the U.S., Minnesota, and 5 metro areas therein. Employment in the Duluth metro area grew 0.7%, equal an addition of 900 seasonally adjusted jobs. This may not sound like much, especially since we remain down about 5,500 jobs compared to before the pandemic, but this growth rate represented the largest monthly increase since February and was the largest of all the metros in the state in July. Over the year, Duluth employment is up 6.7%, again the largest increase of all metros in the state. Total employment remains 4,400 jobs, or 3.2% below July 2019 levels. Only Rochester saw smaller losses over that period. For additional context, we have regained about 15,300, or about 72% of the 21,300 seasonally adjusted jobs lost in April and May of 2020. Leisure and hospitality grew the most over the month, adding over 830 jobs, followed by an additional 130 in financial activities, 90 in mining, logging, and construction, and 50 in wholesale trade. 4 of the 10 sectors lost jobs over the month. Government employment declined by 970, trade, transportation, and utilities fell by 410, professional and business services lost 50 jobs, and information lost only a couple jobs over the month. Now, on to the latest labor force and unemployment figures. After rising for the first time in 6 months, the unemployment rate fell again in July, all the way to 3.7% in the Northeast region. The city of Duluth rate was at an even lower 3.3%. These declines represented the largest since October of last year. The regional rate is the lowest it's been since October of 2019. These large declines in the unemployment rate are the result of increased employment as people filled more jobs, combined with a slight decline in the labor force, which fell by about 140 workers over the month. The increase in employment is reason to celebrate as the utilization of the available labor force ticked up. However, a decline in the labor force is potential reason for renewed concern as it indicates fewer people are looking for work. The regional labor force remains about 3,700 workers short of where it was in February of 2020 and nearly 6,700 workers or 4% below July 2019 levels. The labor force deficits were particularly acute in Koochiching, Cook, and Lake counties, which all have 9 to 10% fewer available workers. Duluth's labor force has been slightly more resilient, yet remains about 1,800 workers short of July 19's mark. One explanation for why the labor force has fallen so much is that older workers have opted to leave at higher than average rates because of the pandemic. This was a common narrative and makes logical sense as our older residents were more vulnerable to COVID-19 and many were near retirement age. While there is evidence from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that national labor force participation fell faster over the past 2 years for workers 55 years and older, there is also evidence that this was likely not entirely attributable to retirements. Researchers from Boston College describe how pandemic impacts disproportionately fell on those least prepared to retire. In other words, low-wage positions and workers were most likely to be affected and were also more likely to have less in savings to facilitate retirement. Until the onset of the pandemic, older workers were actually on the rise in Northeast Minnesota. As our population aged, so did our workforce. The number of jobs held by workers aged 65 and over nearly doubled from 2010 to 2019, growing faster than any other age group. These oldest workers held only 5.8% of all jobs in 2019, but if historic trends resume, are poised to take on a bigger share. Employers desperate for workers may increasingly consider turning to older workers as a source of experience, reliability, and talent. But in order to encourage those older workers that left over the past 2 years to re-enter the labor force and bolster our local economies, confidence must first return. To summarize, employment in the Duluth metro continued to recover, adding jobs at the fastest rate since last fall. Unemployment rates fell significantly in response to the increases in employment as well as a slight decline in the labor force. The presence of older workers in our regional labor markets was on the rise until the pandemic. As confidence returns, we can expect older workers to play an increasingly important role in our local economy. For more information, visit our website or contact me or any of the regional analysts with your questions. We will be happy to help you access and understand the information and data you are looking for. Thank you and have a great day.